Wow, how brilliant was the After Party? Absolutely incredible. I really do feel like it's Apple TV's best brand new show, and I just feel like it brings something really fresh and a wicked new special perspective on the murder mystery genre, and I just absolutely cannot wait for season 2. Hello everybody, and welcome back to my channel Lifestyle Critic. I hope you're having a brilliant day. So in this video we are going to be reviewing Apple TV's brand new series, The After Party, which is a murder mystery comedy series which is really unique in its style and execution, as it recounts the event of a murder, with each episode looking at it from a different character's perspective, which is really cool, as each episode is a different type of genre, which keeps it really fresh and really individualistic. And then on top of that, it's just an absolutely hilarious series. There are so many times where you're literally just laughing out loud. And then on top of that as well, it's really intriguing. Loads of red herrings, loads of different clues, loads of different new information that you find out with each and every episode, which just makes it such an epic series. And in this video, I'm going to be doing a traditional review, but I will also be explaining the ending, and I will be putting all of the chapters in the description box below. So if you want to jump to a certain section, or if you want to jump past a certain section, then you can do that, and I'm going to be breaking it all down for you in this TV series review. So the premise of The After Party is relatively simplistic, which actually makes it really effective, as you're immediately being able to be immersed into this world. So a high school reunion is taking place 15 years after these characters were in high school, and they are at an after party where a celebrity called Xavier, who was part of the class of 2006, gets brutally killed off, and the detective, the audience, and all of the characters have to work out which one of them murdered Xavier. Now from a positives point of view, this is just such a funny series. Every single episode, like I said, was just absolutely hilarious, and I feel like they've chosen and casted this series so well, as they are all able to bring their comedy A game, which makes it so wicked. And like I said, really unique as well, as in every single episode is a different type of genre. So for example, we have a musical episode, a western episode, a kids episode, a flashback episode, a cartoon episode, and even a noir horror episode as well, which is really cool. And I just feel like conceptually this is just so excellent, as like I said, the high school reunion aspect just means that there's so much history and backstory with all of these characters, and then they navigate themselves to this incredibly lush after party, which looks really cool. And then one of them obviously gets killed off, which then just makes it a really wicked murder mystery series. And because of the fact that every single episode is so individual, it just makes this show just so gripping. And as you are so invested, not only in the characters and the mystery, but also all of the clues as well, the ending is just even more satisfying. And I just loved it when all of the stories are being told. You can see all of the collision points with everyone's individual storylines, which is really cool. And after it was revealed, I did actually go back and watch certain episodes again, and you can actually see all of the clues that they are dropping, which just makes it really wicked. From a negatives point of view, I guess they could have added a few more twists and turns. So what they did definitely bring is a brand new, fresh new take on the wicked murder mystery genre, which, like I said, seems to be making a bit of a comeback these days. And I feel like The After Party is just a wicked new addition, especially from a storyline perspective. So one of the many things that makes The After Party absolutely incredible is its truly outstanding cast and characters. They did such a good job in all of the casting selections, as they truly bring their A game, which just makes this series as a whole really effective. So let's go through them one by one. So first up, of course, we have Tiffany Haddish, who does such a good job in terms of bringing the detective Dana character to life. And obviously across movies and TV shows, we have seen loads of different detectives. The two big main ones, of course, are Daniel Craig's from Knives Out and Kenneth Branagh's Hercule Poirot from the Agatha Christie novels. So, you know, I feel like Tiffany Haddish does such a good job as the detective Dana character is able to stand alongside these truly iconic characters. She's really refreshingly different and new as well, really funny and really capable as well. And I'm really liking the fact that we also looked at this character's past as well, so you can see the fact that she was overlooked in her past, and she's really triumphant in the fact that she is able to solve this case, as well as the case in the past as well. And I just can't wait already to see this character returning in the second season. Next up we have Ben Schwartz, who was absolutely phenomenal as the Jasper character. Ben Schwartz was just so hilarious in this performance, a true scene stealer. You're just really happy every single time that he's on screen, as you just know he's going to just make you burst out laughing. Certain moments I couldn't get the picture out of my head that he's just the voice of Sonic the Hedgehog, but that being said, I just feel like he was just so good in this series. And from a storyline perspective, he's got a bit of history with the Xavier character. He's a bit of a tech wizard, and he's Anique's best friend, and is just such a nice guy, a really funny guy, and I just feel like he just brought so much, and I'm so glad that they did cast Ben Schwartz in this TV series, as he was just so wicked in his performance. Next up we have Sam Richardson, who is playing the Anique character, and very similarly, I love that they gave the Anique and Jasper character a bit of a bromance, as the scenes that they are in together is just absolutely wicked. I feel like they bounce off each other really, really well, and I love the fact that he not only has a really rich history with the Jasper character, but also with the Xavier character, with Zoe, with Brett, and he's a bit of an escape room master. Such an endearing lead character, as everybody is totally able to relate with the fact that Zoe was the one that got away, and he is the prime suspect, and I just feel like the audience is really with him, and you're just wanting him to prove his innocence, and I think it was totally the right decision to give this character the first episode to really open with his narrative and his storyline, as he just did such a good job in this series. And in the flashback episode, I love seeing more of the history between him and Xavier, and I think it was really interesting social commentary as well that they looked at from the lens of privilege. But I feel like they balanced it in the perfect way, as I feel like certain other movies and TV shows just focus so much on societal issues, which is really, really great, as they're able to give them a bit more prominence, but I just feel like sometimes they do it at the detriment of the main storyline at hand, whereas this time I feel like they balanced it perfectly, as the storyline was just so gripping and so brilliant, whilst at the same time they were able to put a lens on societal issues, which I think was so brilliantly handled in this series. Next up we have Zoe Chao, who is playing a character who is also called Zoe, and she is Anique's crush and was Brett's ex-wife. And I just feel like even though these two characters, as well as Xavier as well actually, are all fighting over the Zoe character, actually she is able to hold her own as well. So isn't just a target for people's affection, but is a really great character in her own right as well. And I absolutely loved her cartoon episode, where you really did get to see all of the different prisms and personalities that a person has inside of themselves, and I just feel like they expressed all of that really, really well. And so from a psychology point of view, I feel like this character, you can learn a lot from her as well. Next up we have Walt, who was absolutely hilarious. I feel like there were so many times where he really was the comedy focus, in terms of being the person that everyone forgets, nobody really realizes who he is, and he's just so desperate to try to be noticed, but is always forgotten and just ignored by everybody else. I did think that there was a risk that they were going to rinse this joke out, but actually every single time that they made it, it was really, really new and really, really different. So even though you can really feel for this character, I feel like they executed it in a really brilliant way. Next up we have the Brett character, the true jock of high school. I feel like they gave this character a lot of dimension as well, as he's not only Zoe's ex. Then you got to see all of the events that led to them actually being together, and it was actually due to the fact that it was Anique's mixtape. And I loved the high school flashback episode, as this really did pit Anique against Xavier, both from Xavier's perspective, as he blames Anique for breaking him and Jasper up, and then at the same time Anique just hates Xavier, as he feels like he was the person that ruined the chances of him truly being with the Zoe character. We also have Maggie, who is the young daughter of Zoe and Brett, and I feel like she was a really capable young actress, and her kid-centric episode in the finale was absolutely hilarious. I loved also the Chelsea character. Really looked at the impact of rejection and somebody making up a lie about them sleeping with you, the impact that this could have on a character, and the way in which she reacted and rebelled against all of this, and the fact that she then slept with the Brett character, and the history and the impact that this then has on her relationship with the Zoe character. And then last but not least, we have to talk about Dave Franco, who totally smashed it out the park as the douchebag Xavier character. And similarly, I absolutely loved it in the high school flashback episode. You got to see that actually he was a bit of a loser in high school, and really is what everybody wants to do at a high school reunion, which is really showing how brilliant his life has then turned out to be. And he has just angered pretty much every single person in this high school reunion after party, which really gives every single character motive for wanting to kill off the Xavier character. And so from a casting character's point of view, I just feel like the after party was just absolutely wicked. So from a visuals point of view, the after party again was just so brilliant. Even though the concept was relatively simplistic, I feel like the execution was just so good. Never did it ever feel repetitive, even though you are hearing the same event being recounted in loads of different ways. I just feel like the way in which it was executed was just so individual. All of the genres were just so new and fresh and were just so exciting to see. My favourite one is probably going to be the musical episode, as I just feel like Ben Schwartz absolutely nailed it. And I also love the flashback episode, as you just find out so much about the backstories of all of these different characters, and I thought it was really hilarious how they were also poking fun at the fact that certain movies and TV shows has a lot older characters playing high schoolers, which clearly they were making fun of in the high school flashback episode. And I also really loved how they gave a bit of a backstory as well to Tiffany Haddish detective character, and you really get to find out a lot more about where she came from, as like I said, as a detective she is just such a wicked character in her own right. And I feel like the fact that they gave her her own flashback episode, it was really, really wicked. Love the cartoon episode. I thought the kids episode from Maggie's perspective was really hilarious. I feel like they could have done a little bit more with Chelsea's noir horror episode, but all in all I just feel like from a visuals perspective the Afterparty totally delivered. So from a comparisons point of view, it's absolutely wicked, as murder mysteries really are making a comeback at the moment. So many movies, so many TV shows focusing on this genre, which is so wicked. The Afterparty, like I said, definitely is able to stand on its own as well, but I just feel like you can compare it to a lot of other movies and TV shows as well. So for example, the recently released Netflix series, The Woman in the House Across from the Street and the Girl in the Window, was similar in terms of blending comedy and murder mystery, and just having really great characters over there, super bingeable, and a really, really exciting story narrative taking place, which I feel like the Afterparty is very similar to as well. I feel like you can also compare it to Only Murders in the Building, which similarly absolutely smashed it, a wicked blend of comedy and murder mystery, and a really intriguing narrative across throughout. I feel like you can also compare it to Flight Attendant, which had a really intriguing dark mystery taking place as well. I do feel like the Afterparty is stronger, but you can also compare it to WandaVision. Now before you think what on earth am I saying, I would say, you know, they are similar in terms of every single episode having a slightly different genre, even though of course the subject matter is really, really different. I feel like you can also compare it to The Outsider. Now I just feel like this show is 10 million times better than The Outsider. I was expecting so much more from that series, but I ultimately felt like it was really, really disappointing. I feel like you can also compare it to the Scream TV series and the Scream movies on that point as well. Obviously they are so much more focused on the horror angle with having comedy moments in there as well. So I feel like genre wise they are a little bit different, but especially the Scream TV series definitely did have a murder mystery angle to it as well. Similarly, I Know What You Did Last Summer, God, the TV series for that was absolutely awful. So I feel like the Afterparty is 10,000 times better than that as well. And I feel like from a movie's point of view, you definitely can compare it to Death on the Nile, Knives Out, and Murder Mystery, starring Jennifer Aniston and Adam Sandler, which was a wicked movie. So like I said, so many murder mystery content out there, and I feel like the Afterparty does such a good job in being able to stand out from the crowd. So I absolutely love the ending and the final episode in particular for the Afterparty, as it literally did bring everything together, and it's finally revealed that the person that killed Xavier is Jasper, with his motive being that he is the person that made Xavier, yet he is getting none of the credit, none of the attention, none of the fame, none of the money. And I just feel like you can really understand this motivation, and they did kind of plant the seeds for this character, even though they did kind of focus on other characters. So I feel like it was so clever, as on the one hand you really don't see it coming, and then at the same time you can really understand and see as they were laying out all of the clues, which I thought was so good. My suspicions were that it was going to be the Zoe character that's going to ultimately be revealed as the true murderer, as Anik and Brett were just too obvious, and I'm so glad that they didn't make Maggie ultimately be the person that pushed Xavier out the window, as obviously we've recently just seen that happening in another TV series. And I love from a character's point of view that they gave Zoe and Anik a bit of a happily ever after, as they really are the couple that you're rooting for across this series. So I feel like they wrapped everything up really, really nicely, and they also gave Detective Dana a bit of a nice ending as well, as she is triumphant in another case, so hopefully she can finally get the promotion. And in season 2 we will see a brand new group of characters. I wonder if any of these will make a bit of a cameo appearance. And on that point, I absolutely love all of the cameos that they had in this series. Such wicked names making guest appearances. For example, even Channing Tatum was in the first episode, and I just feel like from an endings point of view it was really, really satisfying, and I already cannot wait for season 2. So overall, I absolutely loved the Afterparty. Such a wicked new TV series. I was waiting with anxious breath for this TV series to be released, because obviously they were filming it during COVID, and I just thought the premise sounded so good. And I just feel like even though I had such high expectations for this series, it totally delivered. I feel like Christopher Miller did such a good job in its execution. Every single episode is really, really individual while still continuing and building this massive big narrative. I feel like everyone totally brought their A game. Dave Franco in particular was so good, playing this character that you love to hate. Tiffany Haddish, very similarly excellent as the detective character. Ben Schwartz was just true comedy gold, and Sam Richardson really was a person that you're really with and you're really rooting for as well. I just feel like this series was so wicked, and I love the way in which they wrapped everything up at the end and gave the viewers a really satisfying conclusion to everything, and it was just such a wicked series. And so for all of those reasons, I'm going to give the Afterparty a massive 8 out of 10. And I would love to hear what you thought of the Afterparty, so let me know in the comment section below. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you in my next video.